Conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bridgeport Samaritan Council. It is 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise for the pledge and invocation? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, as we come before you tonight, we ask you to guide us in the right direction, and we make the right decisions for the townspeople and also for the town of Windsor itself. Oh Lord, as we go on with this cold weather, we pray for those homeless people or people who do not have shelter. Be with them and keep them warm. Oh Lord, we thank you for the snow that we got. I know a lot of people do not like it, but it sure does help our water table. And so, because it's been a dry fall, so it does help us out with a lot of other things. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Slow, Rick. Slow. Council, with your permission, I'd like to make a change in our agenda. I'd like to move the public comments up right after the treasurer's report, so the people that signed up doesn't have to sit and listen to our audit presentation and our EDC presentation. So, I'm fine with it. All the council seems to be present, so I'd like to review and approval of the January 26th meeting of the minutes, the draft minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review? If so, do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes. Is there any objection? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Abstaining, motion carries. Treasurer's report. Tony?
Absolutely. So at the end of January, the general fund had an ending balance of $2,791,269. During the month, we collected $29,597.71 in real estate tax payments. We also collected $49,490.62 for October 2025 highway user fees. We also received local tax distribution of $4,976.97. We paid CPJ Associates $2,183.80 for Campus Avenue project engineering services. We paid $15,460.99 for new picnic tables and benches for Schaefer Park, which is grant money. I paid Aero Consulting $7,737 for the comprehensive plan update services, and we also earned interest that month for $7,411.18. The restricted funds account had an ending balance of $124,867.19. The only action in that account for the month was interest earned of $238.20. First United Bank, the new account that we set up with them, the ICS account for our reserves, had an ending balance of $3,263,914.72. The only other activity in the account was we received another payment from the Wealth Enhancement Fidelity Group. We cashed those CDs in, so we made that deposit of $741,680.29. We also earned interest for the month of $9,586.19. Our certificates of deposit we have on balance is $58,865.62. In that, we have at Middletown Valley Bank, the CD for Schaefer Park totaling $58,865.62. Remaining interest that was earned was $200.53, and we did have one more payout with Wealth Enhancement, which just more interest from the CDs that we cashed, $480.76. We'll see that in January, February true up. For the water fund, we had an ending balance of $496,279.27. We received $471,305.60 in water, sewer, and sanitation collections. Of that, the water collections was $174,658.95. Sewer collections was $260,275.35. And sanitation collections were $36,371.30. We also received the second quarter admin fee from Keedysville of $25,816. We paid $20,600.27 to the Maryland Water Infrastructure Financial Administration for the alternate 40 water extension line. And we also earned interest for the month of $571.20. The water fund user fee restricted account had an ending balance of $1,460,566.24. The only action for the month was interest earned of $1,713.85. The American Rescue Plan funds had an ending balance of $864,646.74. We paid Aero Consulting $7,597.14 for ongoing work at the reservoir project, and we earned interest for the month of $2,241.61. The sewer fund had an ending balance of $295,028.09. We paid O'Connor Plumbing and Heating $16,660 for Route 34 pump station repairs. We also had interest earnings of $1,104.02. The sewer fund restricted account had an ending balance of $377,784.25. The only activity in that account for the month was interest earned of $779.01. And I just want to add, if you're looking down through the report with me, you'll see that there's different interest that we're earning in different accounts. I have called into Middletown Valley Bank, and the manager was out this afternoon, but Kayla's going to call me tomorrow because I would like to get all these accounts in some type of structured interest earning. Yeah. Yeah, so,
a little better.
yeah, because I know some of these accounts, for lack of better terms, they roll over and sometimes they forget to call me and notify me, but I'm going to renegotiate. So. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so, I did want to just mention that, so that's it.
Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I will make that motion. President?
Yes, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Same. Motion carries.
I need to step out.
Okay. Ray, who do we have signed up?
We have Peggy and Tina, are you together at the same time? Okay.
Is it okay if I sit?
Sure.
I shake so bad.
That's okay.
That's okay, here. So my name is Peggy Panish. I live at 303 North Main Street. I'm here to state publicly how ridiculous the situation has become regarding my signs in front of my house. By September, when I first received my first letter from y'all, my signs had already been up for 8 months with no concern regarding the sign ordinance. One complaint by a prominent town member who didn't get his way opened it up for you to get my signs down, not because of an ordinance. Take signs off a permanent structure. That's what the sign said that I received. That was the first letter received, excuse me. That's all I had to do. I did that immediately after speaking with Drew. Drew stated at that time that that was the only problem with my signs. He stated that because no one knew what the sign ordinance said. So I put them on poles. My poles are now higher than the fence. My signs are now more visible, and that really upsets you.
So are you saying
addressing us personally?
Yes.
You are, thank you.
You then paid attention to the words on my signs, demanded they be taken down however you could manage it. That's a freedom of speech issue, not an ordinance issue. Again, no one knew what the sign ordinance said. After discussions at meetings about length and size of signs, you decided making me get a permit was the best way to make sure all the signs came down. I was then denied that permit. I then did what you asked. I kept only one sign up, and you still fought. All the letters stated signs on poles. So my signs in the front of my house on the poles, and I complied. And then I received an email regarding the separate sign I have in my yard. So it now equals 2 signs up, not 1. That sign tells your residents that I have food on my porch to feed them, and y'all asked me to take it down. Seemed like that was anything to get my political signs completely removed. At this point, you have made yourself very clear again that this is a freedom of speech issue, and it's unacceptable. So then I had to file for an appeal. There is no sign ordinance being enforced in Boonesboro. This is really a freedom of speech issue. Mr. Mayor, Mayor Lee, you two basically live across the street from me. Every time you come out to Main Street, you see my home. Those signs were again up for 8 months, and no one cared. Not until the words on my sign came to your attention. Again, freedom of speech issue. If you need proof that the sign ordinance isn't being enforced, go to Mary Lee's house. She has signs in her front yard. She has more than is allowed. Also turn around and look at Alex gas station. They've had a 15-foot sign up on their building for at least the 3.5 years I've been here. In the last month, they just put up electric signs in their windows, one flashing. There are no signs at all with lights on them allowed through your sign ordinance. On top of that, the way the sign ordinance is written, it's silly. There are so many homes in Boonesboro going against ordinance, not because they're choosing to, because the ordinance is written ridiculously. And again, this is a blatant violation of my First Amendment rights, and it's unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. This is my personal opinion. I don't think we're taking your freedom of speech from you. Not once, I don't think Drew or anybody from town hall has said what you have on your signs is incorrect. You're allowed to have your freedom of speech. It's the size of the signs. The day that you got your notice, 4 other places got notices too. Those 4 places, 2 of them took the signs down. The third one took the sign down and brought it down to the proper size that they were supposed to. So you was not the only one that got notices that day about signage. So I apologize, but we are not discriminating against you. We're not taking your right from you. I haven't heard any of the council members say that they're offended by what you have up. It's your freedom of speech to put your sign up, as long as it's the proper size. Whether our sign ordinance isn't up to date or not, that's something I'll have to get with Drew and go through the planning commission and get it up to date and make it fair or bring it up to normal days, what the modern days should be. But we did not make those ordinance signs. They've been in existence for, I've been on the council for 40 couple of years, and they've been in the same existence. We have made some changes to some of our ordinances, but So we will take a look at them and see what we can do. But I apologize, but we are not discriminating against you.
Can I respond?
Yes, ma'am.
So all of a sudden in one day, y'all come after the same signs. So you
There was
saw
a
the banner.
complaint.
There was a
That's the
complaint.
And we really don't go around like checking everyone's houses for violations. We really kind of wait till people come
No, one person
before we
complained.
address it.
That's
No more
ridiculous.
than one
No,
complaint.
more than one complained after I put the signs on the pole.
Well, let me
That's when
interject
they
here for a
started to
second.
complain.
Peggy, I lived here for quite a while. I live in Crestview. We have a homeowner association. I had a basketball team outside the house for 12 years in violation of the HOA agreement. Okay, and it wasn't until my neighbor got pissed off at me and complained about me that the HOA came out and made me take it down. So the fact that so people complain on you would make someone, we have no alternative but to go up and look at the law and make sure you're in compliance with the law.
I
Okay?
understand.
So that's happened to me. So I'm a little upset, just on a personal note, that you're kind of lumping the entire town council in this. That's a little bit over the line. That was personal. And I don't even know you. You come here, you come to meetings, you're involved, I'm happy with that. Thank you for coming and being involved as a citizen. Never seen a room this full before, but usually it's just you and a few other people. So thank you for being involved. You have a First Amendment right to speak. What the First Amendment says is the First Amendment tells the government what you can't do. It can't put you in jail for what you said. Right? Doesn't mean everybody has to like what you say. And there are repercussions when you say something that pisses people off. If you piss someone off and they complain and your sign's too big, guess what? You're sensitive. Make your signs a little smaller and comply with the law and say whatever you want. No one's gonna come knock on your door and take you to jail. Okay? That's all there is to it. So please, continue on, do what you gotta do, say what you gotta say, what you wanna say, but there's nothing personal here. And I'm a victim of this as much, not a victim, but I've done it before too. I didn't know it was against, the policy to put my basketball hoop out there, but it was, and I did, damn. I got a neighbor who's a real jerk, but you know what? They're right, and I'm in violation, and I took it. Okay, it's that simple. And if you turn this into something that it's not, that's gonna be a real shame, because I like, the relationship that the town has with each other, and I like the fact that you come here and participate, but don't turn this into a personal issue or a political issue. You already have enough political signs or whatever, and you're pissing people off, so be it. You're proud of it. Stand up and be proud of it.
I'm
These
not
are
the
my
one
signs.
pissing people off. Okay, I'm putting up signs.
People
for my
piss each other
business.
off all the time. I piss off half this town. Okay? It's okay. But if I do something wrong and the town calls me and says, you know what? There's this is 40 years, you're not supposed to put this side by side, and somebody's complaining, then we're gonna have to go out and enforce it. And I'll go, okay, and I'll make a little smaller sign. Okay? It's really, I'm upset that you even lump us all together and make this some kind of a personal issue. I don't even know you.
Okay, I
Okay.
did lump you together because I had people coming to my phone stating they heard y'all talking about my signs. We were talking about the size of my signs.
You know?
We were talking about the words on my signs.
Yeah,
Y'all
just
have
the size.
four in there.
That's not
It
Just
only
the
came
size.
up after there was an issue that we got told in our report that there was complaints.
You know,
We never brought it up.
Never.
In
what
2020,
you
we had a
had on.
sign up here, flag up here on, and just so you don't think it's partisan, we had a flag up here on St. Paul Street that said, Trump 2020, fuck your feelings. Okay? And you know what? We couldn't do anything about it because people didn't like it, but it was in compliance. Okay? It was not against the law. So I'm just letting you know. We told you what the compliance is, put it in compliance, and God bless America. Okay? All right.
And the sign
Thank you,
ordinance is
but
very
no,
complicated.
we never-
My dad had an issue getting the sign established.
People that complain to me, I told them, I said, she has the right to say what she wants to say. It's just the size. It must comply with their size of their sign. As long as you have that size, so be it. What is the size, Drew?
32 square feet per acre of land.
It sounds very complicated, and that's one thing that should probably be changed.
No, I think they're.
It's fine, just sign ordinance are complicated and there's.
Just check with Drew and
I did, that's what I did.
Yeah.
make sure you have 14 foot sign up there. I think
Where
you're.
is he?
He's right there.
I'm correct, right? You said 14 foot.
Yeah,
16 by
So,
2 would be
so
30.
your property is 0.45 acres. Half of that is about 16 square feet. So 7 by 2 is 14 square feet, so a 7 by 2 foot sign. So you're allowed to have a maximum. You take the acreage of land that you have, in your particular case, it's 0.45 times 32 square feet. I think it comes out to 30 something, whatever. Anyway, just for rough numbers, a 7-foot sign, 2 foot wide, that's 14 square feet. So that was just to give a rough idea.
We had a complaint for the banner up on a porch on South Main
Yes, we did. yeah.
before this,
Yes, we did.
and they got a letter and had to take.
We
it
had
down.
issues with signs with sizzling fajitas.
And they-
Easter Days had a sign. You had a sign up on other Main Street, and there was one at Giovanni's that was on the sign.
But as I said, I'm from the hip, I'll tell you straight up. Going to that, you lay your head on your pillow, you want to put up a 14, whatever square foot sign, whatever that is your decision. Say whatever you want, okay? Remember, you're accountable for what you say in your community, okay? In your purple town, okay? If you piss people off, it's on you, okay? And it's not against the law, so nobody's gonna come drag you away for saying something. You don't know what anybody thinks in this town, okay? Unless they come up and talk to you about it. So just think about why you're doing this and what response you want from the community. You're putting a sign that you want a response. It may not be the response you want. Think about it, okay? That's all. So, well,
I've had no problem with my sign. Nobody, I mean, I've had no
I don't
problem.
give a
with
shit
mine.
about your signs. Come by all day, but somebody does, and you are out of compliance with the law. So get in compliance with the law, and you have no further business with the town council.
Okay.
Show up at the next meeting, we'll talk about something else.
Okay, then I want you guys to see, there are so many ordinances, it's not being followed here in Boonesborough. Okay? And that's the thing, if you're gonna be this insistent that it be followed, then do it.
So that's a broad statement, and if you have issues with ordinances that are not being complied with, then you need to file a complaint against those individuals or businesses, whatever they are, just like somebody filed a complaint against your sign, because it was out of line with the ordinance, and we move forward. It's that simple.
And it may piss someone off.
We don't have
Listen,
an ordinance inspector that goes around every day and just looking for violations.
We don't.
That man is a one-man operation that runs the
This
plant.
isn't against Drew.
I'm not saying it's against Drew either, I'm just explaining to you, he's a one-man operation, and we don't have somebody sitting around waiting to go out and look for violations, we don't work that way. We're a
Well,
small
we're
town.
talking at least 3.5 years for a lot of these signs. This isn't something that just popped up. You didn't miss the signs on the building.
Well, ma'am, can I
It
say
didn't
something?
matter. Yes.
In the 3.5 years, we've had a major turnaround in here of at least 7 people, and 3 of them has been the town manager. We just recently we finally got a good town planner. So everything's starting to get caught up. I was looking at the sign thing here. It hasn't been really updated since 2009. So perhaps we can get the planning commission to look at it, maybe go over it and see if we can't come up with something. All right?
And I agree with you about people not following the rules. I've seen streets, houses that have not been shoveled yet. But until somebody complains, it's gonna be like that, because he doesn't have time to go around and check that stuff every time we have snow.
Yeah, you can't go complain on Facebook. If you got a problem, you need to call us. Don't complain on Facebook, because that's nasty. Let's just start it. And you really don't want that.
And
because
I
you started
appreciate
by both
everything
ways.
you do with the food and the coats. I mean, that's
That's great.
wonderful. That's wonderful. You do that.
That's awesome.
I have no problem with your signs, none.
So I'm not gonna say something.
No.
I'll just- To your point, the planning commission right now has done this codification into all the ordinances and putting together a compilation for you, so that's in process. There's a lot of ordinances relative to the planning commission that are out of date. Escrow account that you just approved is out of date. Our site plan text amendment is out of date. you're bringing up one is possibly outdated. I've scrubbed through the city myself, there's a lot of old stuff. So be correct about that, and we are getting at it. Fair enough, Drew?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I will.
Some of our ordinance even still have, horses, going to bathroom in the streets.
Which
I would still,
happens in the
I would still have
West
outhouses, taking care of your outhouses. I don't do
I
that.
haven't seen that.
Keep looking.
Okay. Thank
Then you
you.
have to.
I hope we answered the question.
Tina, you're on the list. You have something to say? Tina? Okay, thank you. That's it.
That's it?
That's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to guests. Jason, the floor is yours, sir.
So,
The way we hear you.
you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Yes, we do.
I'll be very.
Eric and I are nerds, we
All-
enjoy
all-
It is good.
Yeah.
I will be very brief because you have a full house tonight. In the 6 or 7 years I have presented this audit, I don't know that I've ever seen a room quite this full, so.
They knew you
We're
were
not
coming,
here for
Jason.
you.
They're definitely not here for me. I'll tell you that right now. So,
Do your speech again.
I do the best I can. Thank you all for inviting me, allowing me to present the results of our fiscal year June 30, 2025 audit. Of course, we are a little later this year, but we did have a change in town clerk, and that put us behind a little bit. I think the town clerk is going to do a good job. And of course, this is the first full year of our town manager, and I think she has done an excellent job. So I want to, just from a observation and control standpoint, I'd like to give Ms. Sowers the kudos that she deserves from an audit standpoint. As we begin the process, in the financial statements in front of you, I invite you to turn 2 pages in. The ACMI, with our ACMI header on there, you will see that it's our independent auditor's report, and we have audited the financial statements of the governmental activities, the business type activities, and each major fund of the Boones Bar Mayor and Council, henceforth known as the town, as of and for the year ended June 30, 2025, and the related notes of the financial statements, which collectively comprise the town's basic financial statements as listed in the table of contents. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, and each major fund of the town as of June 30, 2025, and the respective changes in financial position and or applicable cash flows thereof for the year ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. A lot of accounting speak, but need to go through that verbatim. It's a clean opinion, best opinion you can give. Everything was neat and clean. Some journal entries, which are normally expected. As you go through the financial statements, I invite you at your leisure. I know Mayor Lee will do this tonight with a glass of wine probably, with her highlighter. Go through and review our management's discussion and analysis. That is a narrative form of the gist of the financials. It takes all of the numbers that are in the statements here and puts them in a verbal format so that it's a little easier to put your head around. I will invite you now. It's like 5 or 6 pages. It's actually pretty good information. It's actually pretty good. So what I will do now is go over the highlights from a financial standpoint, so we can see the big changes during the year. Total, if you turn to page 10, statement of net position, Our assets for the year, our total assets for the town experienced an increase of 4.4 million or 16.9%. And again, just as a point of reference, governmental financial statements are a single year presentation only. So what I'm comparing are to last year's, and I'm sure everyone brought their last year's financial statements to compare to
All the time.
required reading. During the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025, in our governmental activities or your general fund, assets decreased 1 million over the prior year, primarily due to a net decrease in other assets. We did have some increases in cash over the prior year, but we did have reclassification of ARPA cash from general fund to water fund as we progress with the reservoir project. We also had a sizable resolution of our sewer fund payable. Thank you very much for finally resolving that issue. In our business type activities increased 5.4 million as a result of the transfers noted above, and an increase in net capital assets due to the various CIP projects for the reservoir and the Crestview project and the town well. I think those were big things in progress at the end of the year. Total liabilities, excluding long-term debt obligations, decreased 360,000. So at a time, from a business standpoint, at a time when your assets are increasing exponentially, well, exponentially is a bit drastic, but increased about 17%, your liabilities only increased less than 4%. So that's good, even with all the construction going on. Governmental activities experienced a decrease of 80,000 simply due to timing of various payables and accrued expenses. Business type activities decreased 118,000 due to timing of various payables and accrued expenses. Our long-term debt obligations decreased 163,000 as a result of scheduled principal payments. And I think as of the end of June 30, 2025, you have a sewer bond and one note, two, a combined note with the state of Maryland. So your debt position is very good. Very good. The page 11, you have to turn that landscape, but you can see that compared to last year, total revenue increased 494,000 or 17%. The increase is primarily attributable to increases in almost all the tax accounts. Excuse me, this was in the general governmental fund. We had increase in parks funding, increase in interest revenue, and an increase in sanitation revenue. We had a 20% sanitation fee, I believe. Only public safety and county taxes experienced decreases in revenue, and I think they were less than $100,000 decrease in market. So it was a nominal decrease compared to the increases in the other areas. For our governmental fund, total expenditures increased 325,000. The increase was due primarily to an increase in highway and streets, where we did expend a lot of, I think, repairs during the year. General government and public safety, we did have 2 more police officers at the end of the year, and we had our town manager for an entire year this year. So that's a nice change.
Tell me about it.
For our statement of revenues and expenditures and changes in fund balance, water and sewer, I will direct you, make it easier to see for that one. Page 17. You can see for our water and sewer, revenue increased by, for the year, 3.2 million, and that is combined operating and non-operating revenue. And our increases really are traced primarily to all of the various grants that we recognized this year. So we received all the money in years past, hence our large accounts we had at CDs and cash and yada, 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 as we're drawing them down to pay for these projects. We are recognizing the revenue as it's proper, and of course, we have the corresponding decrease in cash, but it sure is better than having incurred more debt. Our total expenditures for the year increased only 97,000, or 4% when compared to prior year. So that's good. I mean, good cost control. You know, it is worth noting, again, we do have an operating loss in the water and sewer fund, $691,000 for the year. But as I point out every year, there's two things that I wish I would have quantified it. I want to say your biosolids removal this year was a decrease of about $175,000. So the money you've expended from an audit standpoint has already started to pay benefits for the wastewater treatment plant. Also remember, you've got a $691,000 paper loss, but you have $1 million in depreciation, which is just a paper.
Right.
So it would appear that from a cash flow perspective, everything seems to be holding its own and improving. The overall net position of the town increased $4.8 million during fiscal year 25. That comprised a decrease of $960,000 in governmental and an increase of $5.7 million in business type water and sewer combined, compared to an increase of $680,000 in governmental last year and an increase of $787,000 in business type activities from fiscal year 24. Again, just because we're so full here, I just want to make certain clear, we're not getting more revenue in, we're just recognizing revenues that we have deferred in lieu of projects we've started. So keep going. Unrestricted net position has increased 5.8 million. Increased from 5.8 million at June 30, 2024 to 7.5 million at June 30, 2025 as a result of our operations. The town's overall financial position remains consistent. Again, you were during the year, because of your cash position during the year, you were impacted positively by market conditions and your large cash balances. So your investment and interest revenue was sizable. And also the amount of the significant grant revenue, which I have alluded to a couple times. We would encourage the town to continue the efforts to always find funding for the projects and in lieu of incurring more debt, and maintain those type of projects or funding for repairs. I know that's hard to do, but try and get it on the back end. And in addition, we encourage the town to continue to try and obtain, to maintain good overall expense management, which you seem to have done based upon the expenses from the operational side of the equation. Now, to Mayor Long's favorite portion, I will invite you to look at page 45. This is our independent auditor's report on an internal control over financial reporting and on compliance. For, I believe, the second year in a row, which is the longest trend since I've been your auditor, we have no internal control deficiencies, no internal control weaknesses, no reportable conditions of any kind. So everything was mentioned, tidy.
2 years in a row.
Yes, I believe so.
I was clapping.
They don't understand
The challenge.
the challenge. Oh,
Because how many, we've always had at least
one or more.
well,
No, we had it clear, and then we had one because I didn't have too much in.
yeah, so the first year we took it, we had like 8. And then we went to 6, and then we went to 0, and then we had the 1,
Yeah.
then we were clean. then I think we had 2 years of small wins.
Yeah.
And now we have 2 years in a row. So, which you had said that was your goal. Yep. That was your mark. You know, very high level, very brief for a essentially 45, 50-page document. But some of the folks that left, I already pushed people out the door for you. But I invite you to look at these. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you.
Do you want to comment before we vote on renewing your,
Yeah.
I'm still,
renewing you for a year?
I'm still good, I think, for 3 years was the original, although you do
Yeah,
have.
we did a renewal, so I think we can do renewal 3.
Yeah, so we have,
Yeah,
we did
that's on
5
the
this
agenda for
year.
tonight.
You did 3?
We did 5.
You did 5.
We have 5 total.
Right, and where,
And
this is.
this would be renewal number 3.
Yeah, we got 2 more years after that.
Yeah, we still got 3 more.
Well, we're not there yet.
We're not doing
Not there
business
yet.
yet. I was really just joking with you. I'm giving him a chance to back out if he
Yeah,
wanted
I,
to.
that kind of gives me a skeevy feeling, you don't want to go on.
We're on a roll. I like to keep it going. 2 years in a row.
So if you, again, if you have any questions, thank you for inviting me and letting me present. If you have any questions, reach out. But otherwise, I will let you get back to work.
Can we make comments?
You can make any comments you want.
I made 3 little notes. In addition to recognizing Rachel, who's doing an excellent job, Jesse Powers is here, who's on, stand up.
There he is, actually.
He's hiding.
Good job on the pair.
He has hit the ground running. I think we had some bumps in the transition, but when we got into the audit, he was able to turn stuff around quickly. So I think Jesse is a good hire, and he and Rachel do a good job keeping things going. Of course, Yvette is good, she does a good job, and Kim, what do you say about Kim?
And
Kim's been here the whole time. She's here to do the
He's been all
conversation.
those years as long as I
I was gonna say,
I think it's expected. So my second comment is, because we have some townspeople here, all the interest revenue that he spoke of, that's because we have AOP, a lot of grant money, a lot of congressional directed money, so we're making a lot of interest on that. But as we're using that up, we're not going to be making all that interest. And so,
and I noticed, for this, for everyone here, I noticed that your CDs, you redeemed more, and you redeemed a couple during the audit, which was because you pulled the cash out.
my third and final comment, with respect to enterprise funds, water and sewer, as you know, we've implemented a 7-year plan to bring those monies more in line so we don't have to subsidize water and sewer from the general fund, and we're about halfway through that. Because no people might say, gee, why my water and sewer bill going up? That's because we've been subsidizing forever from the general fund. So we're trying to bring those things more in line with that. You want to add anything to that? But that's just a.
And from an audit standpoint, that is nothing new. This is my 7th year, I think, presenting for you guys, 6 or 7. And that has been a consistent observation as your auditor. I can't tell you what to do, advise. That's been a consistent observation, and to your credit, this body has made the hard and probably unpopular choice for fiscal responsibility.
Say that one more time.
Yes.
Hard and unpopular choice for fiscal responsibility. I mean, as a consumer, I don't like when my bills go up, obviously, but you gotta pay for the service.
In 10 seconds or less, when I'm attacked in restaurants, everybody's always drinking a bottle of Deer Park water and they attack me. And they say, you're gonna put my water bill up. And I said, no, I'm the guy that's doing a responsible budget.
Yeah.
And that's our answer.
I mean, that's, yeah, and again, there have been much improvements, so you are not only raising from it, I don't have a dog in the fight, but strictly observationally, you are not only raising the fees to account for increasing costs, but you're also spending money to control your costs. You spent $1.2 million in the dewatering press, saves $200,000, you know? And that changes your negative position from operations. The ideal situation would be for operations to be a net zero. And that's what you're going to, but I don't know that you ever get there because of the way it works.
And
It'd be
hopefully
nice.
the reservoir will help with that longer.
Yeah. And, you know, the monitoring and repair expenses every year. There's always a ton of money being expended for repairing the reservoir.
Yep.
So,
And unlike some of the organizations that we deal with as consumers on our own, instead of raising the rates and not getting something in return, we are doing something very valuable for our residents. Because we did implement increases, we increased our cost savings and our services. Our residents, I think we have to give our public works and our sanitation department, our office, everybody on staff, I mean, we step up when there's a situation. And nobody goes around and wants for water issues, sewer issues, streets not being clean. You know, you can say all the grief you want, but look at Boonesboro's streets compared to Hagerstown. Yeah, you can't even drive two cars down Oakville Avenue in Hagerstown right now and pass each other because they didn't clean their
I
streets.
can't get in my neighborhood. You can only have one car in my neighborhood. That's in the north end.
We hear all the bad, but I just want to say that our staff, our public works, our sanitation, we do a good job. And we're physically responsible for doing it.
Anyway, I don't want to change it, but thank you all. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you very much.
I'll be reaching out to you, let me later this week.
I'll send you an email right now.
Yes.
Yeah, reminder, we did
Good.
Eric.
Presentation of Main Street, Maryland.
No, because he brought them up.
EDC and Town Alliance.
No, it's not over there. It will be once they do. Yeah. Updated streets. ACMI, I'll break from out. Yeah, that's our new name, ACMI. Thank you.
I'm just gonna blow it up. Hurry for the show. It just pops up on.
I don't know. Somebody has.
My name's Ken Edmeyer, for those that don't know. I think some of you are. Usually I don't need a mic. I don't know how familiar all of you are with the Main Street program. We assume that you've seen the outlines before. This meeting really was to sign off on a letter of agreement with the state. And kind of update you where we are with the program. For those that want to take a look at what we're doing here now, obviously the vision and mission statements. We're in town. I got involved in this because I helped run it for years. The program has changed quite a bit, but the bones are basically the same. What we're trying to do is revitalize some of these old downtowns that over the years, like Brunswick again is a good example of that. They were the largest railroad town in the country in 1905. Now, in 2005, it was empty. So the state and there's a state Main Street program and a national Main Street program, all work pretty much together with the same principles. We're set up in 4 different types of approach. The economic vitality, design, promotion, organization, and then we also have sustainability for Maryland, which is the 5th. Nobody else has that at this point. There are some concerns that I think I want to mention right up front, and questions that had come from the council. When all of this was being put together, I think there was some confusion as to who would have the responsibilities for this, monetary responsibilities, who's paying for it, who's going to handle it, who's submitting all the grants, who's going to take care of all the paperwork, who's going to do all the promotions, who's going to organize all the events. What we're doing as a group here is, and BTA is basically going to be the Main Street program. BTA will be the program. So all of the activities, promotions, everything under BTA, those will fall under Main Street. There are other things that we may want to bring into town, other promotions, other events. And all of that is to be self-sustaining. We're not asking any money from the council to the town. And there was another concern about workload. We're not adding any more workload to anybody that works inside, within the office in the town. All of these things will be taken care of by Main Street, by the people who have those different programs and promotions, design. So we'll be doing streetscape, that type of thing. So all that will be done by the members of the Main Street program under BTA. There are some things that we're doing. As a matter of fact, Tuesday and Wednesday, we have our first meeting with one of the banks. Just to give you an idea of how we're looking at funding all of this. We're looking at the banks in town kind of as a foundation. We're asking for 3-year, how specific you want us to get, but we're looking for 3-year monetary commitment, the same for each of the 4 individual banks. If something like that would completely fund a part-time person, that's where that money can come from, or that may just be put into a general pot depending on what we do as far as grants are concerned. Now, BTA has picked up a grant now for $20,000, correct? 25.
Through the Department of Housing. Specific, we've been here, we've had these conversations in 1924.
I wasn't here.
It's in my rule, and I'm not that old, honey.
On June 24th, we do have a resolution, and we passed it and the mayor signed it. And that's when we applied initially. And then, as Ken has mentioned, told us what your concerns were. So in the meantime, we submitted our application, and Main Street, Maryland, took a whole year to restructure. And as part of that restructuring, they've come up with aspiring and connecting levels for Main Street. And so we are,
they've accepted us into the connected level, which is the very base level. Doesn't require you to have a Main Street manager, doesn't require you to have staff, basically doesn't require you to have anything. it's kind of like the introductory level where you learn about the 5 pillars that Tim has outlined, and you learn what some of the benefits of the program can be, and, you know, you kind of just hang out there to see if it's the right fit. And I spoke with Kristen at the state on Friday, and she said, right now, there's no limit to how long you can stay. You know, maybe if people, their towns stay in there for 10 years, they might rethink that, but you can stay at the connected level as long as you want. The next level has a time limit to it, the aspiring level. And when you go to that level, you have to have at least a part-time Main Street manager. And it's a 2-year commitment for training. And when you finish that 2 years, you either got to go up to national designation or back down to connected. So we're just starting at a base.
So this is gonna allow us as a connected community to build capacity, use the Main Street approach. We already, the EDC, we have some of these elements already covered, and we'll just shift it around a bit and to strengthen our local commercial district in sustainable ways. And just get a feel for, as Jerry said, for this program, we have to have 2 professional development opportunities, attend some Main Street meetings, annual reporting and such. But we were able to get a $25,000 grant, 20 was to go.
We being the town
Queensboro Town Alliance, and with 20 going towards salary and 5 going to marketing. And there's no requirement for you to match that. I think that they want to see that you are supportive of the program and in word and in kind services. Anything else, Ken, you want to add here?
No, just by getting into this, the connected designation will at least allow us some opportunity for programs. And that's really what we're gonna be working on, is our grants. We're getting some residual take us back from some of the other promotions and programs that are run throughout the year. But we'll be looking at different grants to help us along. We've got the Civil War heritage area. There's a lot of different places we can go to. The Connected opens us up to a few more grants. Again, most of these we can all do on our own. The only time we would ever need anything from the town is something like signing off on this letter of agreement. We can't sign off on that, obviously you have to sign off. But outside of that, we're taking our full responsibility of putting this thing together, running it, keeping it afloat. We'll see what we can do. We'll talk to all the businesses in the area.
I'm concerned, sorry,
That's okay.
bring it up, because the Boonesborough Town Alliance hiring someone and then this agreement with the town of Boonesborough, I just feel like there's that gray area gonna work where they're a town employee and eligible for benefits
No.
and how that.
No.
Okay.
So when I spoke to Kristen at the state, and we talked about that, and she said that she can send us some examples, but if you get to that level or that point where you do want to hire someone, nonprofit, town alliance is going to hire that person. If it's part-time, there's no requirement for any benefits, really. But what happens in some instances where a town is working in coordination with a nonprofit is then they work that out between the two of them in a memorandum of understanding, so that each party knows what the expectation.
And that was gonna be my question, would it be better to have a memorandum of understanding with the town alliance outlining who's gonna take? I don't know, you know what I mean, I hate signing a letter saying we're responsible for something.
The beginning of the agreement spells out that the town is taking responsibility for turning it over to.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the, Boonesborough Town Alliance. The part-time, let's be clear on part-time and employees and all that.
Yeah, 'cause that's a whole can of worms.
So under connected, we can hire, when we talk about hiring a part-time employee now for this program, we're talking about 20 hours.
But I mean, there's
We're-
payroll taxes,
we're
social
not-
security.
That's
it's
what
not-
nonprofits, that's their.
It's all going to the
It's all on
nonprofit.
us.
So we can-
I know it's all on you, but I'm just
And this
concerned
is,
because
this is 1 year,
it's like the town of Dinsboro function, and as soon as the person has a problem,
but it's gonna
You know,
benefit the town
that's
of
what we-
Hillsborough.
I understand that, but I also just, like, if it doesn't last more than a year, unemployment compensation, you know what I mean? There's just.
But that's, okay, so
But we,
This-
the only time we're ever gonna get into a situation that we can see at this point is if we would ever move beyond this designated to the aspiring level. The aspiring level, you have to hire 30 hours.
It's
That's
required.
part-time.
this, that connected is not.
And connected is not required.
So what they asked in this, and this is coming from Kristen of the state, she said basically this is an agreement that shows that everybody's on board, that you're in support of the town being in this program. And it show, and it says the designation lies with the local government, but in this structure, then the local government entrusts the program to the nonprofit.
But I have a question too, because the paper that you want us to sign does say the local government is responsible for maintaining the connected community, and then it says expected to demonstrate leadership and support through committee participation, which I feel like somebody is gonna have to go participate, and then it says in-kind contributions.
Right.
So I'm
let
just
me give
wondering,
you an
it seems
example.
like something here, we're gonna end up having to
Now,
put
let me-
something out.
Let me give you an example. See, like Natoma said, we have so many of these things already happening. Like, say support of the program, okay. When the food truck festival happens and we gotta close the street down, the town drafts a letter, signs it, the manager signs it and sends it out to the residents that are affected by that. That's in support of an event that would be run by this program. Maybe when you did the Appalachian Trail Community, something that Brian was interested in. And so he did join that committee, but nobody's saying that has to happen. There's so many examples of in-kind contributions are like working together that already happened. Like when the maintenance staff sets up the fencing for the beer garden for the food trucks, or when they bring out benches for Spring Jubilee, or, things like that. That's all, that's the support and the in-kind and, just showing that you're supporting the events and the things that are being planned.
Document that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing, if you want the, correct wording for it, but if you want to put in here somehow, that there's no additional responsibility.
Which would probably, that would be the number to get MOU.
Yeah, and then, I mean, maybe that would suffice, I don't know, but I mean, everything here would be run completely independently from the town.
This is,
If you go to the state will tell you, the state contract and a lot of the grant, that even organizations like this, we still have to go through a can't go through the nonprofit or, the group that has to be.
For the grant side, you said that being in the connected status, it'll open you up to more grant opportunities. Is the town gonna have to apply for and manage those grants?
that would be through the BTA.
So the state, even though a lot of the stuff has to go through the municipality, the grants don't have to go through us.
No, because if you look at the responsibilities of that nonprofit is program funding is, one of the responsibilities of the nonprofit in this agreement.
So the agreement that you sent before us is the one that came from the state that partners.
Did they give the updated?
This is the new one. Originally, they sent us the wrong one. And I kept saying, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense.
That was
So
confusing.
Friday, I called her and I said, this one makes sense. So she's like, oh, you have to fill out the letter.
So.
So the first,
Yeah,
the first
the first
letter
one
that
we
they sent out
saw-
to you was asking for the town.
Had all the responsibilities under the town. It's
But
not really-
but they sent the wrong time.
Yeah.
The wrong agreement.
So again, this
So the
agreement
one that Rachel sent you is
is between
proper.
Department of Housing, Town of Boonesboro, and the Boonesboro Town Alliance.
Yes.
That's what this agreement is.
Yeah.
Correct.
And all facets of this agreement have to be executed, for lack of better, good term to use, it has to be executed as per this agreement. But if there's things that we have a concern with on our side, as far as the town responsibility, the only way I'm gonna sign this is if we already have an MOU in place that outlines the things that we have a concern about. Yes, with the DTA. I can't do anything with the Department of Housing. They're not gonna do an MOU with the town of Boonesboro, but the town of Boonesboro needs to establish an MOU, and that needs to be executed with the town alliance, so that we're all on the same page. Because I'm not signing this unless I have that document to go with it.
And Kristen at the state said she has examples of what some other towns. have
That
done.
way,
She said
everybody's
she
on
would
the
send
same
them.
page, they know what we expect of each other, and there's no gray area.
Can you give some of those?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good with examples.
Yeah, they threw a little curveball on us in the last.
Yeah, this one
week
isn't
when we
this.
found out it was wrong.
I mean, everybody has good faith, but,
Oh, yeah.
people change.
Yep.
Positions change. We're not gonna all be here forever, Howard. No, he said earlier how he'd been here for 40 years. I said, we're all not gonna, some of them are gonna change, but if we have a document that tells us what we do moving forward, then there's no question about it. It's not all he said or she said. Then it's all cut and dry. That's all. It's way simple. There's nobody gonna assume anything. You know what happens when you assume?
What was the deadline? We have plenty of time to do that.
February 27th, you don't have a workshop meeting this month, do you?
We are on the schedule.
Yeah, don't be scared.
I don't know if we're gonna have one.
I didn't see one on.
I didn't see one on the calendar.
Well, if we get you some
We can
examples
get
of
the
that,
examples.
something drawn up. I mean, that's our only concern at this point now, because since they sent us the wrong agreement, they said, okay, we're gonna extend you again.
They should give us a look.
They should give us the time we were hoping, so they
What's
did.
the, February 27th.
Well, originally it was the end of January.
Yeah, in December.
Yeah, I know,
This has been,
yes, but they're an organization that works with the municipalities and they should understand that we don't have regular meetings.
Right.
So
Yep.
often.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
get the
Six
examples to me.
Yeah.
We'll get it worked out. If for some reason it's not gonna be by February.
we can, now that, we've spoken and she understands, she knows we have the wrong thing.
But I do think that you should verify before we leave here what elements need to be in that MOU so that we don't bring it to you guys for approval and then find that it didn't have everything you wanted and then we have to go back again. So are the basic things that town shouldn't have any financial responsibility.
Well, yeah, I would, how can I ask this? We're not asking for any additional staffing assistance.
Brenda,
But
that's
again,
where,
if
that's what
something
we're
comes
worried
up,
about.
if
We don't
somehow
want you
something-
coming in and asking Kim or Jesse or Rachel to do 2 hours worth of
No.
stuff when they've already got a very heavy
No.
schedule. You know what I mean? And
No, I get it.
That's
I
what
get
we're
it.
worried about.
I get it. No,
That's what we're worried about.
There's
Some of
nothing-
the current things like setting up for. things
They've
that
all
already
kind of
happened.
expressed us that they're,
Things like that,
you know,
normally take care of. I don't see where that, as long as Greg doesn't have an emergency, they should
Right.
be able to help put the fence up, move picnic tables like they have in the
but
past.
we also don't want them to plan a 3-day event and then just assume Greg's guys are gonna be available
Oh, no.
to do all this setup, you know what I mean, without a prior
Well, that would-
discussion of,
Well, that,
is this gonna undo stress our
that
staff?
would be the town's problem.
Okay,
That would be our problem.
well, that's what
Because
that's
we would
what
go
we're
to Greg and
wanting
we
to
would
make
find
sure
out
we
that
have
couldn't
in
do
the,
the program.
yeah.
So we've put all that together. We're gonna manage all that.
That's all we're working out. We just don't, because they all kind of said.
No additional, the reason I say no additional duties was because we still may need a signature or
Right.
okay or something
Well, that's
If
the
it's
working together. part.
through the grant
Yes.
program, just for somebody to sign. But that's it. We're not asking for volunteers. We're not asking for you to put any time into any of the promotions we're doing.
Well,
or
we're not
events or
opposed to
programs.
volunteering. We're just worried about.
I just heard
Paid
one,
staff.
I just heard one thing that I'm concerned about already, that you going to break and asking for.
Oh, I don't think that that was meant to be intentional. And in any way, if we were to do a 3-day event in Boonesboro, first place we'd have to start is right here in this room and ask for your blessing. And I'm sure that if we were going to do any kind of 3-day event, then we'd like to do it in the park. And before we come to this room and ask for your blessing, we would need to go to the park board. We understand how this works. You know,
The only reason Greg was brought up was because of what he's doing.
Right.
Nothing new.
And I
Which
believe
goes
the
to-
reason that Tony's concerned about that comment and just wanting it to be clear is because with everything that is going on, all town staff are stretched very thin.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly his department, because he's been on site doing the inspections for all these developments that are happening. So I think that's where Tony's coming from, that it just, you know, I manage the workload, so I need to know what's going on, and it's, yeah.
It would definitely be a phone call to town hall and speak to Rachel. That we would be wanting to do anything over and above our normal, and see, I'm hard pressed with saying what's normal, because I don't know what all's been done in the past. I'm hearing about the fencing being put up, bleachers being put up. I mean, I don't know how I can get all that in the MOU from you about 27. So there's a lot of particulars that needs to be documented in that MOU.
And those were, everything mentioned there, all existing programs that you guys have been running.
Correct.
So that, again, nothing new. Anything that the new comes along, we're gonna be coming to you.
right now, I think we're just trying to get the Boonesboro Town Alliance up and active and engaged in the community. And this gives us an opportunity to have a person that will create some structure, continuity, and let's see where this takes us. This whole thing has to be reevaluated by the Department of Housing in a year, and the BTA and the town of Boonesboro, to see whether we're just comfortable with connected, or do we want to move on to another level? Then we can talk about, revisit all of this again.
So your intentions at the moment, if you get things executed, you're gonna be hiring somebody. Is that your?
That's the intention within the next few months.
So that's gonna
They
be.
have their own administration. and
That's
things
gonna
that
be
they
in
need
the
to
MOU
take
then
care
too,
of.
Rachel. That would be in the MOU too, but we're not gonna be responsible for any hires, any pay.
I wrote
Okay,
down.
all right.
That's at the top of the list.
So the time your last comment there is in reference to the term that expires June 30, 2027.
Right, but just to clarify, this time, because they just restructured everything, and we're halfway through the fiscal year, this letter does run through the end of fiscal year 2027. After that, they're gonna be on that fiscal year, once a year renewal and all this, but this time it will be a little.
So we don't have to renew it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys think of any other specific concerns that you have, just email them to me. Terry's gonna send me examples of the MOU, so we'll get something together and with everything we get that out of that.
So do you want me to put together a list of in-kind services that are currently taking place?
Probably would.
Yeah, the two main points we wanted to start out and we wanted to end with was the no monetary credit and the no additional administrative resources.
And that was our word.
Those are the two we knew we could answer right off the bat.
Wish you the best of luck.
Do you want like a motion of consent? consensus to get a memorandum of understanding written up, and then, okay with this
Can we have a, can we set a date to
agreement
try to
for
get this,
connection?
MOU taken care of?
Motion.
That's what I'm asking, is that
I
what,
think that would help
It would
from
help.
that
our
what we need to
standpoint.
do?
That would be-
When I'm not.
Well, consensus doesn't need a motion.
Let me get my thesaurus. I make a motion that the town council only consider and establish a relationship with this new organization and cooperation that we set a meeting, be determined to establish it right.
Well, they're trying to get it done by.
He said,
That's
that's
just,
just, that'd be.
set a meeting, and we'll make a date. Your people talk to our people and we'll.
Can I, wait, there's a motion on the floor. Or you can-
Here we got a motion on the floor to, work on MOU and get it.
Howard, that's not really a motion.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
I make a motion that we, in very near future, meet with
How about you
Town
make a
lines.
motion? How about
What
you
if I
make-
stick with my
You stick
motion
with
of
it. I'm trying to be-
consensus to enter into a memorandum of
That's-
understanding
Yeah.
we have the
and
intention to.
the connected status with the Main Street
Maryland
Maryland program as discussed tonight, contingent upon, the drafted agreement. Okay,
What she said.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does everybody understand what you're voting
I think so.
on? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries.
I'd just like to add that, this says that, it requires local government support through committee work, in-kind contributions, planning and policy initiatives. I'd like to point out that there is a member of the EDC that is a liaison between,
Town Alliance.
and the Town Alliance. So you have someone that's appointed through the EDC that's overseeing it. So that is your role from government with this program. You're not paying for that, it's a volunteer, but
It's in the bylaws.
it's in our bylaws, that there's a liaison from EDC. So that checks that box. In-kind services, we've already established what those are. That checks that box. So
There's a lot of initiatives like this.
So when I help you with that's in kind service. too.
Exactly. Right, so you've already checked all the boxes, it's just gotta
Right.
finalize it. Sure we all understand what's going on.
Just gotta understand.
Yeah, we just didn't want to commit to like paying staff.
No.
Especially in budget.
We don't have to
No,
make
what we were
that-
going
make that
on.
connected. Below the 30-hour
Yeah.
threshold.
I think we proved that we really are interested in having this program. I think we jumped through some serious hoops. We formulated the DTA, we filed for grants to get, just try to bring some stability to the program. And we want to see things getting done in Greensboro. We had a strong EDC come out with some serious long-range plans, and this is one of them, and we want to check it off the list and move forward. We got some of these.
Kathy and Barb would be good resources because they've done an excellent job as far as keeping us in the sustainable Maryland. and
Oh, well, that's a
requirements and doing
mandate.
that.
That's a requirement.
That's a
that you
requirement.
guys are-
You know what I mean? They put a lot of effort into
And
that.
a lot of what you do is very much part of that fifth pillar, which
So I
is
mean,
what
like, they have
you
a structure that kind of.
Well, thank you all. Thank you for taking time tonight to come out and explain this to us.
Sorry for the
Thank
confusion.
you.
We have to review it.
Yeah, we can move on.
Can we do that at new business or you want us to?
Let's go ahead. Do I have a motion to approve the 25 fiscal year 2025 audit?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion. We have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstain, motion carries. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, now we're losing all our.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, we got this fixed up.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick, for setting that up for me.
Great.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's start out with the ice storm of 2026.
Whoa.
That was probably the worst storm I've dealt with since I've been here, trying to get it, manage it, trying to get it, come up off the road. It was pretty bad. It was just the cold temperatures. We've never had anything like this in the 23 years I've been here. Even that 3 or 4 foot of snow we had back in 16 did not compare to what that. But that didn't have like, that was pretty bad. We've hauled out 356 dump truck loads of snow from the line of sight, town storm drains. We started clearing streets. We started Grove Lane. We did Lincoln Avenue. We tried to get everywhere where people park out in the roads. We have not hit every street in town. We probably will not get to them. There was a state of emergency, but there was no money for snow removal. No, like there was in 16. So we didn't, I couldn't call contractors to come in like I did in 2016 to have everything removed. So we only have 2 dump trucks and 2 pieces of equipment to try to remove all the snow. It just takes forever.
Even the county put a state of emergency in, but they said there would be no funding.
So we not just like Ray Street, there's some mailboxes out there 3 or 4 foot away from the mailboxes. There is not, I mean, the street's wide. It's 2, 3 lanes wide. People can pass each other on it. His storm drains are clean in front of his house. If we get rain, nothing's gonna flood in town. Everybody did a pretty good job.
You did a fantastic job, Greg. Thank you.
Jumping over to the water side, we just been dealing with a bunch of frozen meters, calls all hours of the night, during the day, just Keysville and Boonesboro this time. Usually it's just Keysville. Now we're getting Boonesboro called in too, because it's just so freaking cold.
For so long period.
The house you guys just purchased on Maple Avenue completely flooded out. When I opened up the storm drains this morning, it was up to the roof on the bottom floor. The floor was. Yeah, but it actually flooded out Campus Drive and put 6 inches of ice across Campus Drive.
I saw that out there this morning. It really disrupted a lot of school.
It's pretty bad. We got it all cleaned up. We got the water shut off. We pulled the meter. We got all the ice cleaned up out of the road. County was a little concerned. I said, well, there's nothing we can do. We gotta let the traffic come through here. No accidents happened. We put out there and watched everything.
How are we on salt?
We're still good. Still good. Yep, we'll make it through the rest of the year with no problem. We'll still have plenty of salt. We probably used around 50 tons. We don't throw salt the whole time like State Highway does, just so you guys know. We don't throw salt until it's over. Until the last flake comes down, then we start putting salt down. It's just wasted. There's no sense to put it down and flat back up. And then every water line and sewer line out at Dean South has been installed. There's one more test to do on Wednesday. We gotta do a pressure test and it'll all be completed out there, all the water and sewer. There's some stuff that they gotta go back and fix that I gotta get with Drew and make sure we don't turn anything over to us before it's all finished. But other than that, everything with the sewer side's good.
Good. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Yes, sir.
Good job. Anybody else have any questions with Greg? Pete, where's the work?
Well, it's been a good month. Don't really have anything to report back to say. We have a couple of minor issues here and there, but we took care of it in-house on all of it. The only thing I really need to report to you guys is that we lost one of our employees today for a little while. He had a heart attack, so he's going to be out for a while. Just was rushed to Washington earlier today. I'll find out more. Once I find out more, I'll let you know, and she will know probably all what's going on.
Keep Jim in a prayer. By the way, if any of you all haven't heard, Greg Moss is losing an employee from his last day.
He already
He
left.
already left. He just
We
quit.
gotta stop saying
Well,
Yeah, you kind of got me there, Pete.
But they're Pete.
Sorry.
You said that and I thought he was going.
Called Rachel saying when to come back.
So, but Greg's getting some applications in. How many have you received so far?
Oh, 5 or 6. They're in my truck.
But
Man called me, he said, "Aren't you retired?" Or he just said, "I'm gone."
Yeah, pretty much.
okay, thank you. Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Pete? Thank you, Pete. Town managers report. Rachel?
I posted the RFP for construction management and inspection of the Chase 6 project. The bids are due March 5th, so you guys will be awarding that at your March 9th meeting. Like we already said, there's an opening in Public Works. The applications are being accepted until February 20th. Jean Holloway, the chair of the Hughesville Water Advisory Board, gave the board some information on impact fees. So going to be reconvening the CIPC work group to try to apply that information to our draft that we had created. We are going to wait to issue the notice to proceed for the Crestview project until the winter weather's behind us. It'll most likely be mid-end of March. This is primarily driven by safety concerns. It's not going to affect completion of the reservoir. It will we'll push it back a little bit of time, but not a significant amount. That's going to be any issue with grant funding or anything else. We had our site visit today for the monitoring of 2 of the grants that we got for the dewatering press and the Shape Park well. It mostly went well, so there were a couple items that they are noting that we'll have to make sure we are careful to follow for future grants. And we have 2 anniversaries this month. Yvette is 4 years and Dave Dockenberger is 10 years. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. We're really fortunate to have staff that have been here so long and continue to be here, not only because they have experience and they know the town inside and out, but just because turnover, I mean, although it ends up with a great product a lot of the time, it's still, you know, it takes a lot of time to interview, to train, to get somebody else used to it. So really having people that are staying is a major blessing. So I'm really glad to have 2 more people that are here another year.
How many years was Dave?
We said.
I think that was it.
Anybody have any questions?
I just would like to have Rachel elaborate a little bit on the EPA grant money that we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah, thank you for reminding me. So we had been tentatively awarded $1 million grant with the EPA for the reservoir project way back when Paul was here. And even though we reached out to them and tried to work with them, we were not getting any answers until finally, miraculously, we heard from them the other day, which Eric apparently is, you know, he just has the golden touch because he calls, the guy answers, but he ignores me for months on end. So anyway,
You just don't have.
the good news is that we had to file for a categorical exception or something. It was for the environmental assessment, and that was approved. So it sounds like it's going to move forward. I mean, I still haven't seen a grant agreement, but it looks like it's going to move forward, which is amazing because we are just about $1 million short in funding for Westfield. So if it works out, it'll be, I'll sleep better.
Have you gotten any word on the facade grant? I know that there's another one out now, I guess.
The commercial one is accepting applications. The residential one will not be, I think we can start accepting applications at the end of April, because by the time they get through the process, they should be in place for the award that starts in FY '27, or, yeah, '27. The commercial ones, we still had FY '26 funding. So there's still some left for that. We can take commercial applications now. And I don't know if he's done it yet, but I asked Jesse to update because some things changed a little bit and there's differences between the commercial and residential. So the website, if it's not yet, it'll be updated with the details on each one. But Catherine is still handling them for us, so she's still, I mean, we're paying her to handle it, so if you have questions.
Okay. Thank you.
No other questions either. Thank you, ma'am. Very good job. Town planner, Drew.
Active subdivisions, active development, you've got Highs is out the other end of town, they're moving along, they're putting steel up for the actual building. The tanks are already in, so they're moving along, obviously the weather's holding back. Dean South, as Greg said, all the roads are in. They don't have the final coat of asphalt on. We don't do that till the last house is built. But they are now, since they finished most of the work in the residential subdivision area, if you actually look out across from the school, they're actually grading out to the road now. They're bringing it down, they're bringing the water line down, so they're bringing that road down to where Chase 6 is going to tie into there. So they're working on that as we speak. Things coming, Tractor Supply, they've reached out to the town and talked to me about the requirements for site plan submission. They've also contacted State Highway about the necessary testing that they would have to do for traffic control. So we haven't received anything officially from Tractor Supply, but I anticipate it. As you all saw, they were doing soil borings out there. You don't spend that kind of money and not submit a site plan. McDonald's has all their approvals. They have conditional approval. They got their water and sewer taps from the BMUC at the last meeting. We have the ambulance company will be coming before the BMUC this month for one additional tap for the additions that they want to put in. They did a full fixture unit count, so we'll see what that is. That'll have to be approved. They'll need one. That's all they'll need for the additional taps that they're putting in. So it's not a lot. As far as the construction projects, Reservoir, they're working on the control building, putting the insulation in, doors and windows. Once they get doors and windows in, they'll start bringing in the monitoring equipment. They don't want to put that in the building, obviously, until we have lock and key. So they're working on that. And as Rachel already told you, they're going to delay the Crestview job. That storm just put the icing on the cake, literally. I mean, can you imagine? More than anything else, it's a safety issue. They were working in that shoulder during all that. I don't even want to know what could have happened. I mean, drivers are bad enough when it's icy. The last thing you need is a construction site. So I think it'll go much faster and much smoother. Other than that, it's been busy. We have 2 Board of Appeals cases next Tuesday. One for Mount Nebo Church for the variable message board. And Peggy, who was here talking earlier, her Board of Appeals case is that same evening. So other enforcement actions going on. We had some flare-ups, and I had to send a letter over to the Mini Mart about the exhaust fan. Apparently, she was operating it, and we reached out to the county to find out what the status was. Rachel got the response back. Basically, their permit expired. She never submitted anything that was supposed to. I had to send a letter to remind her you cannot use the exhaust fan. It is not approved. It's not approved to use. That went out last week. I haven't heard from her. I expect I will at some point. But there's enforcement actions.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We don't hear from her.
She's been put on notice, and a copy of that letter went to the county because the county does all enforcement working without permits. But by the same token, you know, Mr. Dowdy reached out to us, the town, about this operating. So we, of course, wanted to make an effort to respond to his concerns. So again, haven't heard any more on that issue. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer the best I can.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions?
I just have one comment. Is there a sign at Alex's that's out?
I have no idea what she's talking about, but I will, if she files a complaint, I'll be happy to go look
I
at it.
understand that, but I didn't know if you just knew more.
Has anybody filed complaints about people that didn't shovel snow on the sidewalks?
I did.
Tony did. He's the only one, and I believe someone's doing the inspections, and as soon as I get that list, I'm gonna send out the letter.
Someone is doing.
I don't want you doing the inspections because you heard it's me and I don't want to walk sidewalks, so we're gonna just have to.
Step Fire Force truck.
We're gonna mention as we have time.
Yeah.
So,
We do have as we have time, but like somebody pointed out to Peggy, we do not have a full time.
It was also an exceptional situation. Like, you know what I mean? Because if you didn't get out there or weren't at home to shovel right away, that
On the
like,
very first day.
made it really hard to get
but
anything.
it's also been more than, it's been a week.
Yeah, I know, but it's also been busy.
And I agree with
Street.
her, there are times when we need to keep in check with our, you know, we can't just pick and choose who we contact. Is my whole point.
I don't think that we do pick and choose.
Well,
It's that, it's the ones who complain. Like, if we want somebody who's gonna actually go out, I know there was a zoning enforcement officer before that was what he did all day, was run around. Drew doesn't have time to do that. So if we want somebody who's gonna be doing things like after it snows, they go around, and we need another person to do that. That's why we generally respond when somebody.
Yeah. Most of the complaints I've seen has been on social media. So.
Well, we don't go based off that. because,
Right.
um,
That's what I
But if
said.
somebody
Don't do
files a
that.
complaint, it
File
will
a
be,
complaint,
okay,
We will
that's
take
all I
care
need
of
to know.
I'll let you investigate. Investigate.
Thank you, Drew. Police Department, Chief.
As you got our reports, so, we have 8 of the total 15 cameras have been installed. The last 7 are gonna depend on Greg's electric guy getting us hookups in the bottom of the lamp post.
Did you get a mark?
I think what Warner did that night, yeah, so I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
So, we can get around with that, so, but, yeah, that's about it from us.
Chief, we've been getting some phone calls about, Spanish Hawken with the loud music, the DJ.
We just got a call Saturday night, it's the first call we've had in probably
A while.
a couple months. And, I mean, the county went out and there was nothing. I mean, they tried to contact, Miss Reese that made the phone call. She wouldn't answer
She's
the
one
phone.
call here too.
Okay. I mean, they had a DJ Saturday night, but, I mean, I don't even know what to say.
It wasn't even late, it was like 10.
It was, she made the phone call at 10:21. I mean, and the county even said there are no noise ordinances in the county. I mean, so, but they did they sent a car down and I think Mark Price called, that she wouldn't answer his phone call. And it just, so Robbie's gonna talk to him, we're working on that case up there now. So we sent the call sheet to, Tom, the one owner, just to let him know that another noise complaint.
Well, technically, it's not until after 11 o'clock, correct?
There is no noise complaint. You can charge somebody with disorder, but there's no per se noise complaint in the county or the town. So
Would that fall under like a nuisance?
it could, absolutely, yes.
That's what I was thinking.
And I guess that's, by the nature, I mean, she's probably called maybe 4 times, 4 to 5 times, I'd say, Miss Reese has called. without noise. And at least 2 of the times were very justified. And they were trying to turn it down, and they did after they were called. And gosh, it's been a long time since we had that one meeting and said, the noise just wasn't gonna be tolerated. And they pretty much complied until Saturday night. I just,
Was it a
It's cold.
different DJ? I just
Well,
wondered,
what
like,
she was telling me today is it only seems when there is a DJ. She's like, the other events, the wrestling, the different
that's
things
what I was
like that.
wondering, like, if 2 DJs complied,
Right.
did we get a different DJ and he didn't get the memo? And-
but I'm wondering if they turned it down because,
Yeah.
again, I think the DJ might initially crank it up and I think
Mhm.
management kind of goes and says, hey, the idea that they told us at the meeting is they go outside, walk the perimeter, and if they hear it, they go back in and tell the DJ it's too loud. So, I mean, at 10:20 at night, I mean, there's gotta be a little bit of flavor in there for them to get their volume. And, again, sound travels when it's cold and overcast, and it was cold and overcast, so I'm sure that sound would travel even more, so. But I hate to say they're being a nuisance, because I do think they're trying to work within the confines of what they have in one resident that they're
Right.
close to. I mean, that's, it's just, yeah, so. I mean, James, am I off base? I mean.
No, I think, when the other complaints came in, they were late, 1, 2
Yes.
o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning.
that I could see.
Yeah.
After midnight, I can see.
Yeah.
And one of the instances was actually brought before the liquor board for the county because
Yes.
of some after hours.
After
I think it's one, but
Yes.
it's 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the
No.
evening.
No,
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. So,
I agree with you on that.
yeah, so. But, yeah, so
Okay.
hopefully.
As long as you're aware of.
Yeah, we are, yeah, so Mark reached out to us. And let us know. So, yes, and the report, though, the yearly report, is that when you guys were, comparing the years, is that Are we missing anything? You want to see something else?
No, I was gonna tell you, thank you for doing that comparison. I know you put some extra time and that was, you went back further than even, I just was curious.
We could have went back to what, 20,
I could have gone back to
2013?
2014.
Yeah, I just wanted to see because it's kind of you have brought a different style.
Sure.
And you can definitely tell that from,
Yeah.
the traffic stops and
Yeah.
engagement. And
I think the main
people are
thing
happy
was
to
is
see you guys visible in the community.
the patrol checks. I mean, that's the one thing that we're trying to mandate, and nobody's at the office more than they need to be, and they're out making patrol checks in the town, so. The night that the state did the snow removal, I think between me and Robbie, we wrote 6 infractions that night. People didn't see the 5-foot road closed signs, road cones and everything else trying to get, I mean, it was amazing. My last ticket, I think, was at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see all the big flashing lights, and I had my lights on, and I mean, it's just amazing. I mean,
Yeah, I was surprised we didn't get complaints from residents who live on Main Street with all the lights.
yeah, we towed one vehicle. We towed the vehicle.
This one,
from
the white
44.
one's,
Yeah.
yeah, the white one
Yeah.
has been buried.
Yeah, James actually tried to make contact with him that night. I couldn't get anybody, and James got a hold of her the next morning. They're Florida. They go to Florida. They left in October.
Yep, they're snowbirds.
Yeah.
Probably left the car on Main Street. They should never leave their car on Main Street.
James said, why don't you park it in the backyard?
Yeah.
No emergency
Yeah,
plan
they're
out there.
It's a Canfield.
Yeah.
So-
So did the,
Hey,
when they
get
did
back
the
to
Main
Florida.
Street of the stage, so cars got towed that were there.
Yeah, we only had to do one.
Yeah.
Truck on my road, I even sent them a message and said, you
Was
need
it
to
still
move
there?
them, do
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Because the state was telling us where they were at, and we were,
Okay.
so the only one they complained about was 22 North. So, okay. I didn't know anything up your way, Terry. My last stop was up by your house. Car went up that way before the time. Yeah.
Well, they were not in front of my house longer than they should have been. I told Greg, they pulled a wire down going across the
Yeah, we
road,
went up
so
and zip
everybody
tied.
had to stop everything.
And then Warner went up and said, took him down and said, hey, if your guys, I'm like, they're not my guys, they're AT&T guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they went up and zip tied it. So,
Thank you, sir. Anybody else have any questions of Dave? Mayor and council, corresponding updates, anybody have anything?
Other than what I sent to the mayor and council earlier today, I don't know if everybody received it. The invitation to the steeple dedication at my church, Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church, 64 South Main Street on March the 15th. Love to see as many of you there as can show up. You don't have to be there for the church service, but you're certainly welcome. It'll start right around 11:15, 11:30. And there is food and everything, so it's a very helpful meal. You want to invite the county commissioner too. That's all I have.
Anybody have anything else? New business. Request to renew auditing firm for fiscal year ending June 30, 26. Renewal number 3 option out of 4 additional 1-year terms.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and extend the contract since they gave us a very good price and we've been pleased with their service.
Yeah, there's no change in price.
We have a motion and a second to continue. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Request to renew 2026 mowing service.
So we have a contract with Getter's Lawn Care that was awarded in 2024. It was for a 1-year term with the option to extend for 2 additional 1-year terms. It is $1,165 per week, so per year it's $32,620.
You're still good with their,
Yep, they're still the cheapest. There's nobody from.
and you're, I mean, but you're pleased with their,
Yeah.
we haven't had issues.
Yeah, I don't have the babysitter.
They,
so
I don't think
that's
they
why,
raised the
yeah.
price the last time.
They
either.
haven't raised the price and
Right.
they're very quick to respond.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to renew the, our renewal option for the 2026 mowing services.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained. We got a request from Pittsburgh High School, Lead the People, for a donation. They're still winning, and they're getting ready to go to Washington DC for the Nationals. I think last year we gave them, what, $100, Kim?
Yeah, we didn't give them anything this fiscal year yet, right?
This is
No,
the
we did
first-
not.
This
This
is
was-
the first one?
Okay.
This is the first one. This is first.
I'll make a motion that we give We the People $100 donation.
Second. Here we have a motion and a second. Give We the People $100. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Request from Washington County, Washington County, Envirocon, yeah, for Washington County Soil Conservation. For having a Washington County Envirocon scheduled for April the 8th. They're asking where we would give them a donation to help sponsor. Our name will be on a t-shirt. Give them a donation. This is new.
We did not, we
Yes.
got a request last year, we did not.
We did, yeah, you did. We gave them $100
Yeah, we
last
give
year.
$100.
I thought he cried about that and we didn't do it.
Because it wasn't-
You did not vote for it. Because I pulled it up today because I was wondering. Yeah, so we did approve $100 for them last year.
I'll make a motion that we sponsor Washington County Envirocon for $100.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to donate $100 to Washington County Marathon.
Do you want to discuss, Ray? Ray's gonna discuss.
Have any discussion?
Not necessarily.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstained? One no.
Same as last year.
Motion carries. Thank you all. Approval to transfer project-specific funds to restricted account. Rachel?
So in our quarterly or bi-monthly grant meeting last week, we talked about how for some of our main projects, we had budgeted subsidies for them from the respective funds. In the Chase 6 project, for instance, we had budgeted $207,021 in FY '25. That's Crestview, not Chase 6, I'm sorry. Crestview in FY '25, it was that, and then for FY '26, we budgeted $10,000 in the water fund. And as not all of that subsidy was used, we wanted to move it to the restricted account to make sure that it is still available when needed for the project. So what's left for Crestview is $141,678.31. And then for the Chase 6 project, we had budgeted $200,000 in FY '25, and all $200 is still available because what we had spent out of the subsidy was reimbursed by the county commissioners from the award that they had given us for the Chase 6 project. So there's $200,000 in the general fund for Chase 6. And then we had talked about moving flow and infiltration funding, but that's gonna come out of the sewer fund user fees anyway, that's what the money is about. So what I was asking you guys to do tonight is to approve transferring from the general fund to the restricted funds, Chase 6 amount, and then from the water fund to the water user fees account, which is our restricted account for the water fund. But
My
Marilee,
next question is though, I mean, how are we gonna be kind of using these funds? Like
Having them
the
in
Crestview one
restricted.
going on right now, because then you're just have to move them out of restricted every time you write a check. Like, kind of we were using restricted to, if it was like, kind of, like, you know what I mean, not a current project, but.
I guess I was thinking, is I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain this in sense, but we had these projects
Yeah.
that we had reserved money for,
Yes.
but the money was not sitting there, we had earmarked.
Well, it's earmarked in the budget. It's earmarked in the budget.
It's earmarked in that district, not the front, the next district. So we wanted to move it to this restricted funds account and then have a little ticket to X dollars.
Shouldn't we do that at the end of the year? We should have trued up because which is what we normally
And we
do.
will be doing.
Right. Because we didn't have that practice.
Right, that's the practice. I kept trying to tell you that's what we have been doing. And need to do. But now my question is though, because like they're both active projects, we really want to have to move to and from. I mean, it's just accounting work to just make sure we do it. Or we want to wait more till the project's trued up and finished.
But we don't want to do that.
I don't wanna wait until the
It's like
project.
multi-year.
I will agree to wait until later in the year, but I don't want to wait until the year's over and not lose the money, because we need to keep these projects moving.
Well, I know, but I'm just to say, if we're gonna start the Crestview project and use the funds, you really wanna have to move it to the restricted account and pull it back out to write the checks. No.
If I could meet you guys halfway, maybe we leave the Crestview money in since that is the one that we do not have any other cash flow for because the grant that we did get approved for is reimbursement based. And since Crestview is getting ready to start, we're already for fees, whereas for Chase 6, we had more wiggle room. So maybe, and plus the Chase 6 was 200,000 all from FY '25. So maybe we move that at least.
Yes,
So
let's
that
do
the
that.
Crestview
And
money
then the
we
Crestview
keep-
would analyze in June to see where you're
I can
at,
do
which is
that.
as long as we know.
Okay, so you're voting to move $200,000 from the ICS general fund account to the MC restricted fund.
Yeah, provided Tony can make sure he gets the interest rate.
Yeah, so that goes without, yeah, so I'll make a motion.
Before we make a motion, I don't disagree. Straightforward, but from the point of view of the town, as Tony's reading this treasury report, it sounds like we have all this money, and it's not being reflected that it's already earmarked for these whole projects. Not that maybe that would be, they need to recognize that if it was in the user fees account.
And it's nice to put that out there in the public purview, but it's really more so for us back here.
Well, maybe in our treasurer's recap, you can say, going through the however many million, you know what I mean, reservoir project ongoing with expensive, I don't know, maybe that's where we need to just say it.
I think we're keeping.
Because it's still gonna be in a bank account balance. but it's
It
going to
is,
be-
it would be earmarked and restricted as such. That's the big key.
Well, I was just gonna say, when we originally did the restricted, it was kind of like for stuff that wasn't a project like, working right there. You know what I mean? It was like excise tax funds that have been there.
But this
and
isn't going
gotta
to
be
that,
used
this is
for-
going to the water fund.
Well, not the crest,
For the
not the Chase 6.
Chase,
that's general.
Chase 6.
So,
And I may say this again for the public, we don't want to have too many separate bank accounts.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to avoid, but at the same time.
And Jeff has been given the breakdown of what's in the restricted funds on the.
We're not adding an account.
Okay.
So you want to, Rachel, you want a motion to move the 200 out of the general fund ICS to the restricted funds earmarked for Chase 6. I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? We have a motion, and a second, to move the 200,000 for Chase 6 into the restricted fund, from the general fund. Any other questions? Hearing none, all.
So I think what they're saying is the interest rate on one account is
Yeah.
different than the other, so that's.
So nothing drastic. I'm already.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, abstained, motion carries. Late Friday, we've got, 2 more requests, so, which the agenda was already printed, sent out. Pittsburgh Ambulance and Rescue Company has requested, over the years, and Rachel and I already discussed this and talked about it. And Rachel seems to think there wouldn't be a problem. They're asking for a request of the money that we give them every year to add $2,000 to it. We currently give them how much now?
28 a year.
28,000. So it would raise them to 30,000. Now, with that in mind, if we give the ambulance company 2,000, we have to give the fire department 2,000.
So that's not what we're gonna put in the budget
Correct.
for this future year,
Right.
not something we're adding right now.
No,
Too far.
we're too far into this year.
Right, she had reached out and asked for a request form for
Gotcha.
27.
And I mean, if it would help, we could probably go ahead and cut them. You know what I mean? The second half of that check is there. Because I think we normally give them like half and half.
Yes.
I mean, like,
We have
if that would help their cash flow, I
We
don't
won't
think
give
it's gonna
them-
hurt our checkbook if we
we're
go
gonna
ahead and
give
write the second half.
We gave them one in December, correct?
We'll give another one in what, July?
June.
It's usually May, June, yeah.
I think it's just saying if that would help, if that's where they're at, if they're needing some cash flow, I'm just saying, we could probably, we could make
Is
that
it,
offer.
is it a cash flow or is it, are they just asking for an
This
increase?
says they're just asking for an increase due to the fact that they're getting ready to order some new stuff, units for.
Suction.
Suction units. And she threw a T in there at the last second. Looks like that.
Suction.
Well, it looks like that's for both of their units. So that's what the $2,000 is going for. You want to make a motion?
Well, I think we just.
It'll be
approve
just
that
part
in
of the budget.
right?
Yeah, I mean, just go ahead and spend that,
Request for
their
the
second
budget
half
that was
now,
up, what we
and
did.
that'll help them. What we have already
Like I
budgeted.
said, if we want to go ahead and give them the other half of the money we do now, if that will help them, if they want to go ahead and buy them.
It would be nice to say it made a budget. This is our company and the company, $2,000.
We're gonna be doing the budget soon,
Yeah.
so we can have that conversation. Agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
We want-
Do whatever you
Think
want
there
to do.
appears to be consensus among the council to, you know, work that into the budget and help them out. So,
Yeah, because that can also be put in the 426 check.
And I'm just gonna hold this other request.
Yeah.
and put it on the agenda.
We need to make a motion for you to go ahead and pay them, Kim, or is that okay?
Yep. we'll go from-
No, it would just be earlier. It's no problem.
I mean, it's already an approved budget.
Right, yeah.
Expense.
The other request too that they sent out. Anything else come before the council? I will go to the commission reports. Our board, Ricky.
Okay. Unfinished business, it was the old time Christmas recap and suggestions. The event was a success. The Honor Society students were helpful and just decided to ask them to participate again. ES art teacher Katie Toy and third, fourth, and fifth grade students brought Christmas decorations they made in class to decorate the town tree. The decorations look great on the new hot. So we thought it'd be easier and a lot nicer if they put them on the smaller trees around the area. So we're gonna give them a call about that. On the disc golf update, there's still issues with the placement of baskets and safety issues. And now I spoke at this month's meeting about her experience and of almost being hit with a disc while walking near the pond. Any future problems will be documented. Laura will contact Rachel and set up a meeting with representatives from the council, park board, and disc golf to discuss problems and concerns. Basketball court update, the courts have been repaired and look great. The benches and tables have arrived and will be assembled by Public Works as time permits. Water fountain and trash cans have been ordered. There's not been an estimated ship date. April 26th, there'll be a park cleanup and Arbor Day celebration. And there's a grant application for funding to replace the fencing at the existing dog park. Expand, say there are two sections, one for large breeds and one for small breeds. Where is that?
You say 16?
What, tree board update?
No.
Park board,
Park
April
cleanup.
26th.
26.
On pavilion, there has been a preliminary approval for grant funding for a pavilion by the pond in Shaver Park. The approval process still needs to be completed, but we are probably getting it funded. Unfinished business. Park board come up with the certificates to be given to individuals or groups who volunteered or completed a project at the park. Volunteer opportunities for Girl Scout troops, 15116. Ideas for 5116 to include Green Fest, Clean Street Up, Independence, and Celebration Night, National Event. There has been a request for a food truck to sell at the Wagon Train event. The park board discussed this and decided to keep the food with nonprofit organizations. The Sandmar request, there was a request from Sandmar to set up a table to give out treat bags and distribute information about fostering children in Fisherville. Park board discussed this request and liked the idea, but thought Independence Day celebration and National Night Out would be better events for this information.
It'll have more people.
Yeah, well,
Because fishing derby, you're just gonna have
Can
a
you-
couple parents and kids.
So can you imagine a kid, fan walking up and they're giving a pamphlet to the
Yeah.
man and saying, here, they'd have more of an opportunity with the bigger things. Hopefully this will be agreeable with Sandmar. Both of these events will be an opportunity to reach more people. The meeting was adjourned at 8:30, and the next meeting is at February 25th at 7 o'clock.
Do you have any questions? Pittsburgh Municipal Utilities.
Sure. I did want to do a small recap for you about the Boothborough-Keysville Water Advisory Board. We also met on January the 14th. We reviewed capital projects, Crestview bypass. Pre-construction meeting was held. HRI will be working on Potomac Street, Shepherdstown Pike, during construction stakeout. No expected road closures, however, flaggers will be in use. The project is expected to take about 4 months to run bidding. All property owners were notified last fall. Reservoir update, both tanks have been fill tested and passed. HRI will be back on site completing work in the control room, and the project is on schedule. GIS system, there was no update. Status on the draft agreement between the towns. The agreement is still at the attorney for Boothborough, and we have no update at the moment. New business, Boothborough applied for grants to continue work on I&I, which is inflow and infiltration. We'll update when the grant approvals are announced in the spring. Keedysville bedrock loop and replacement, the town manager Renner, stated that they're waiting on a 50-50 grant match funding, and she'll advise more in the spring. There was a brief review of the water rates between Boothborough and Keedysville. Of course, we both set our rates independently between the two towns. There was a little bit of discussion from the members on just open conversation, and Chairperson Holloway said that she was going to send out a presentation on impact fees, which I think I sent out to you all earlier. No additional comments, and our next meeting is scheduled for April 8th at 6:30 p.m., and that'll happen at Keedysville. For the VMUC, we last met on January the 20th. I'm sorry, we last met on January the 21st of 2026. Under old business, town planner stated the tank construction and testing was complete. The contractor was working on the control room, insulating and installing doors. They were not working full staff over the holidays, but they're back on full staff now. Crestview bypass, the town planner stated that contracts, docs, all the documents with HRI have been signed. The grading permit is approved, and construction stakeout will begin soon. Water and sewer capacity study, there's no update. Potomac Street leaks. Mid-Atlantic contractor will be working in the month of February doing test bits to determine exactly where the 4-inch line begins, so that we can make a plan on how we're going to make that new connection and increase the size of that line. Under new business, we welcome our new member, Nelson Baker, as the new commercial commission member.
He looks excited.
I know, he was excited that night too. Thank you, Nelson, appreciate you. Senate Grove proposal for cost to transport our biosolids from the wastewater treatment plant to the town of Boonesboro. We were presented a proposal for $57.88 per ton for an estimated $60,000 to $70,000 annually. This cost savings is going to equate to about $150,000 per year now that we're using the new sludge with our dewatering press. BMUC unanimously approved to accept that proposal. The pilot program with Fortiline with 20 water meters, the town did proceed with that. It's a 120-day pilot program. All 20 meters have been installed. Areas of Grove Lane, Orchard Drive, Ford Avenue, Lakin, and sections of St. Paul. At the end of the 120 days, we'll do an analysis of where we are and advise with the next steps in that process. Our superintendent, Mr. Huntsberry, brought up that the town specs need to be changed for requirements for meter parks. Basically, the book is from 2016, and some of these parks are now coming from overseas. We need to make sure that we update the book, our specs for the contractors to maintain our town standards, and again, the BMUC approved that unanimously. Tap allocation for McDonald's, they submitted a fixture unit count. The count came to 6.5 EDUs, and BMUC approved conditional site plans for 7 water taps and 7 sewer taps. We don't sell them half increments. Future connection for the Kufner property. Town planner stated that the developer of the area of that 48 acres located on Route 34 near the Crestview Bypass project offered to install connectors in the 12-inch main while we're out there doing that project at their expense. And this is to include connectors and valves. The commission required the town planner to execute an MOU with the developer to ensure that proper installation and all related costs will be incurred by the said developer. Under systems report, Superintendent Shoemaker stated it's recommended to replace the pump at Young Avenue Pumping Station. He also informed the BMUC of an incident at Keedysville Spring, which we all heard about. Keedysville has installed cameras and they are doing 24/7 monitoring, and they have not had any other problems there. And it was also recommended that we install some type of a camera system at Well 8. Superintendent Huntsberry stated the contractor has completed the water line install at Dean South all the way over to Maple Avenue. The model home is nearing completion, and Greg also stated that we received the new high pressure flusher. Public Works was properly trained, and the new sewer line flushing program will be implemented. We will meet again on February the 18th, right here at 6 p.m.
Does anybody have any questions for Tony?
I have a comment, if I may, Mr. Chairman. Someone else name? Oh, Rachel already said it, and Tony said it, but I'm gonna say it again. It's capital improvement program fee. We had a team that, we put together a few months ago, Tony and I, and Rachel from this family on. We came up with what I felt was a very good product. We hung up with our attorney. So in this meeting, in the Keysville Board, the same subject just happened to come up off the cuff, wasn't on the agenda. Jean Holloway used to work for CERCAP. She said they did a study in conjunction with the University of Maryland. I've reviewed it, I'm sure Rachel has, Tammy has. What they came up with looks a whole lot like what we come up with. So we just need to get back on this subject, and Rachel's going to get us back on it, but we have to get this implemented in time to start charging for some of these new developments. We hope to do it in time for Dean's out. So, I just wanted to say that's an important topic, this capital improvement. Fair enough, Rachel?
Anybody else? Hearing none, moving on. Finance, Eric.
Yeah, get your popcorn out. We did meet on January 27. I think we had the longest meeting ever. With the most items on the agenda as ever. Pay attention, Drew.
Paying attention.
Okay, I know you. So I'll just go down the agenda here in Battlefield Estates is the 10 acres on Orchard Drive, which happens to be right beside my house, the other right before the site. They spoke for 90 minutes and basically, I'll use their word, pleaded with the commission to approve this revised site plan. I guess we call it a preliminary site plan. So they want to build 72 three-story townhouses in that 10 acres. And
I'll be at that next week.
I hear,
If he's gonna be there, I will be there, because he promised the fire company he would buy him a new ladder truck.
That was brought up.
I brought that up.
Yes, and he withdrew his recommendation.
Remember. Yeah. So trying to keep my personal opinion out of it, but you're right. You're absolutely right. So, in order to build these 72 three-story townhomes, the property would have to be rezoned once again, and then it could only be approved within that zoning by special exception. So they gave, again, a 90-minute presentation about that. Yeah, so more to come on that. I'm not sure where you got the back. But personally, I did bring up some of the things because I had been there before. Next on the agenda, Fletcher's Grove, Dean North. That's moving along, Dean North, not Dean South. I guess the two most important things that have been discussed in there is there's only one entry point and exit plan, and it's basically through a cul-de-sac, so it's not optimum. And number two, there was stormwater drainage issues, and Drew either has already met with the affected residents or is about to.
Have met with them.
McDonald's he's talked about, that's moving along. The ambulance company he's talked about, that's moving along. The draft comprehensive plan, that official review by the agencies and EMS and those types of things, that's forthcoming, moving along. Fair enough, Drew?
Yes, sir.
The floating zone text amendment, it was on the agenda stated as a timeline discussion. So that's basically the Vermont development. So they came, we really didn't get into a timeline discussion. I'm going to say Mr. Plus, his engineer, his attorneys, all came to talk about the next steps and answer any questions the commission may have. So they had presented this text amendment in November. We did not meet in December. Drew sent it out again ahead of the meeting. And the commission basically didn't have any questions. They really wanted to hear from staff, and they wanted to hear our attorney's comments. So that's moving along. I guess it's fair to say, but the commission didn't have any comments. Now, I had some comments, if y'all would like to hear them. And this is not whether I'm in favor of it or not in favor of it, it's just observations about the content. First, I said this to them, that Vermont wrote this legislation for us to pass. They wrote the text amendment, we didn't. And this would apply not only to that project, this would apply to all of the projects in town. So we have to be careful about that. And I did ask them, I said, well, since you all wrote this text amendment, and you've basically agreed to only 55 number homes, there are all other types of homes proposed in there. And their attorney responded, well, what they sent was basically just a boilerplate type of a text amendment. So, okay, I just noticed that while we're all there. And then third and finally, I mentioned that we have not talked about density, phasing, revenue study, all the things that we've talked about offline at Legion. And to me, approving a floating zone that will impact other developments, not just theirs, before we negotiate any of the parameters, just seems backwards to me. It sounds like we're approving a contract before we negotiate anything. Perhaps we should talk about these other things and have agreements before we approve floating zone. But again, the commissioner just said we'd like to hear from our attorney and hear the staff. So those are just some of our personal observations. Again, not whether I'm for or against it, it just seems logical to me to ask those types of questions. So that was basically that. And it was nice of Mr. Fox and his attorney to come over here in the weather that we had, obviously. Because it was pretty bad. Like 2 nights after the big storm. So I thank them for that. Next, the Planning Commission Code of Conduct and Oath of Office discussion. So they have come up with this code of conduct. Our attorney has weighed in, provided comment, and there were then a couple of comments made by the commission. They'd like to have some further discussion and refinements. Specifically, something about free speech was brought up, and that was one of the sticking points. A vacancy on the planning commission. We have one member who is moving to North Carolina, and I forget when the heck's his last meeting. Was it March or May?
I thought he said May.
It's one of the M words. So we'll be having a vacancy on the planning commission at that time, and there may currently be one, so maybe that's gonna give us 2. Right, opening for an alternate, but that's even a little.
Nelson, are you?
Yeah, because it's like, how can you? It's difficult to have an alternate without them being in attendance all the time to hear all the discussions. So I guess we have an opening for an alternate, and we're going to have an opening for the. As Drew already mentioned, we have 2 Board of Zoning Appeal cases coming up. Tony and I are both committed to be at that meeting. Chase 6 Boulevard, Drew spoke about that. The codification of the ordinances, I briefly brought that up in the ladies here. Drew and Rachel have done a good job pulling all these old ordinances from way back in the 90s. There's a lot of stuff that's out of date. Our contractors put it all together. We're gonna have some reviews of all that, to make sure everything's in a good order. We've got this resolution supersedes this one, it supersedes this one, and frankly, we get lost in there sometimes where the heck we're at, just as the lady pointed out. So, you may remember, we approved the escrow account, it had the 270,000 fee schedule attached to it. So we got to straighten that stuff up. So that's a big work on that. It's overdue and definitely needed. And that is it. Thanks for listening.
Everybody have any questions for Larry? Here, EDC, right?
Wasn't there, sure.
Okay, yeah, I was there. They basically talked about what you heard tonight, town lines. They went through the regular minutes and everything. Treasurer's report and stuff. They had breakfast, from study work, so it was good. Breakfast was good. But that, most of their meeting was basically discussing the town lines. They're really gung ho on that, so hopefully they can get things worked out, make it perfectly clear that the town is not responsible. Once we get that straightened out, I think we'll be. And they're coming events. I think the dates completely set yet. I have to laugh, if I may, for the first thing now, we have Rachel has this assignment to craft.
I know, I was worried about that too. Rachel has to come up with the MOU and say that.
You know, that was amazing.
Anybody have any questions for EDC?
Thanks for going.
Oh, you're welcome. I just said breakfast is good. Environmental Commission.
We met on January the 14th. They were a little concerned. She said that she ordered some, I guess, some garden stuff, community garden expenses were ordered in June, and of course, the bill came in July, so that cut into their budget right away, which they weren't really figuring on. She said the future purchases that they would finalize by the end of May. And so Barb Wetzel suggested maybe they should have a treasurer be added as a BEC officer to present like a monthly update. So they approved that. So they have a treasurer. Rainfest, May 9th, Low Waste Living Workshop at the library is February 18th. And it's going to be a DIY make and take as well. Arbor Day, you already said that, didn't you? Okay. The application for food forest grant was submitted by Anna Twig with the Maryland Natural Resources. Community garden application is on the town website. The deadline is 28. Park and the garden will open up the first week of April. Kathy Besley said the rules and regulations have been updated for the farmer's market. The application will be online by the end of January. March 15th is the deadline for vendors, and May 5th is their opening date. Our next meeting is Wednesday, February 11th.
Does anybody have any questions for Jared?
What's the treasurer gonna be responsible?
Just keep a track of how much money they spent.
Okay.
No.
Volunteer?
No, I know when the BWC had their own treasurer, it was suggested that they shouldn't have someone signing checks. It's not.
Oh, no, they don't sign checks or anything.
It's just, it probably would have told Kim she could have put it at the payroll in June. They'd had their employee time to avoid that, you know what I mean? If the check wasn't cut, it could have been a payroll. Well, live and learn, yeah.
Any other questions? Jared? Anything else coming before the council?
I just want to make a reminder that the BZA is going to be on the books for the 18th at 6 o'clock right here. And there's two exceptions, one for North Main and one for Mount Nebo Church. The Planning Commission made their findings and they were both denied based on our current ordinances. I mean, nothing against the church, nothing against the lady on North Main Street. I just think that we should show up and support what the decisions are that we made. That's all.
Is that 18th or 17th?
17th,
I have it wrong. The 17th.
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
17th, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one.
Anything else?
Yeah, so we're not having a February workshop.
Apparently we are. I didn't think it was on the calendar.
It's not,
It's not on the
it's not on the
calendar.
calendar.
That's what I'm
It is listed as tentative.
Okay.
So if we need a workshop, we can do it. If we don't need one, we don't know.
Because I wasn't sure if you wanted to work on MOU and maybe try MOU in and if you want to get that in and vote on.
It's not on the.
I will leave it penciled, I will leave it on my calendar.
Anything else?
It's for you to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those the same, motion carries.